All right, guys, we're going to do a little market overview. It's January 7th, New Year 2026, and let's start covering some stuff here and see where we're at. So, I think I left the end of last year basically saying that pretty constructive. I think I see a great year ahead, and we had a lot of rotation, a lot of weird uncertainty kind of towards the end of the year, whether that be tax loss harvesting or people maneuvering money or whatever, especially in the crypto space, but even in and around TradFi, everything was chopping around. Certain asset classes were outperforming, certain ones were underperforming, and we had a kind of bigger tech pullback and all that. But here we are, end of the first week of January, and things are looking to shake out kind of somewhat as I'm expecting. So we're pretty much at all-time highs. You're right under 7,000 in ES. I expect that to just continue up pretty much all year with your standard 5 to 10% pullbacks along the way. Maybe one crazy thing, but in the end, I think we're in crime season and we're going to do whatever we can to juice markets towards the end of this generational move in stocks. And I think we see a large up move before we see some catastrophic down move. And you're going to see that across the board. I think NQ is going to go reclaim all-time highs at some point. Um, and these are things I don't pay attention to too much, like these just like charting, guessing via chart builds or whatever. But in a sense, like they give me comfort because I see only good things. Russell, basically at all-time highs, small caps, stuff like that. Gold and silver, I have said I've been looking for an opportunity to take shorts recently. I've pulled the trigger on gold. I'm short. I did pull the trigger on silver, which is so it's funny. I'll show you what I did here. This is why timing the market's so hard. But I basically sold right here. Let's see if I can get a little. I sold right here. And once this move, this counter trend happened, it looked like it wanted to like retake the all-time high. I just took my loss here. And of course, we've had a massive already kind of 7% down move from there, and this was just in a day. But I am holding my gold short, and I added to it. So ultimately, I'm liking that. Silver kind of shook me out, but the sentiment across the board in precious metals was just getting to a fever pitch for me. I just, New Year, the Venezuela thing kind of seemed like a big moment here, and I was basically like, look, if you can go black bag, as they say, a dictator of another country, bring him to our country and imprison him, and gold stops going up at that point after a generational run to the upside, to me, that's like quite the top signal. Now, obviously, it could be wrong, but sometimes you got to trade, right? You got to take chances here and there. I like the risk. Hyperliquid was paying me like over 100% APR in funding rates to take the short, and I was able to take out a leverage short. So I'm going to be holding that for a little bit now. Of course, though, with that, I don't know if capital can like rotate towards BTC or what, but I really want to see Bitcoin take out this 95K level. We've been talking about it over and over, and it's just rejected, rejected, rejected. Um, I look at it as kind of this zone right here, roughly, you know. I want to see us take this out and then go start to reclaim, go test we get back to the moving average that was at 100. We have like I think it was the 50-week moving average. Let me get the weekly. Yeah, 50-week moving average, roughly 1015. So to me, like, this looked really similar to the April tariff tantrum, but what I don't want to see is this massive wick to the downside. Like, I already feel like we've had some massive wicks and capitulation events. Like, I want to see us just start to recover and go forward. And I want to see a rotation out of metals back into crypto, or at least Bitcoin. But remains to be seen. I really think that could happen. Like, if we break 95, 96, I think we teleport back up to like 105, and then kind of figure out what it wants to do. But we really got to get above that, or else the Bears, in my opinion, are still like controlling the stage here. But I'm still pretty positive here. But like on rotation days like this and when metals are going down and stuff, I want to see some money start to flow into Bitcoin. Um, we'll see what happens. I think a lot of the news going forward, there's still great catalysts that are there for crypto with the market bill structure. It sounds like they're starting to push those through faster, but there's a lot of steps along the way that still have to happen with the House and Senate and everybody agreeing and then Trump signing it, blah blah blah. But I really don't think that stuff is priced in anymore. Like we're just down too much. I mean, we're still down over 25% or so in Bitcoin. So I still think that there is a spectacular rally to be had. Um, if you just look at some of these like indicators, it just looks like it really wants to go. We just need to, I think if we crack that 94 or 95, we'll really make something special happen. Until then, though, I can't get super excited. You know what I'm saying? 2 year looks like it just wants to go. I think this might help us get that momentum we need to get that bid everywhere, as long as this is dropping for the right reasons and not some terrible economic data or something. But I think we're going to start pricing in those lower rates to come across the board. So this will be talked about soon. You'll start to hear about the 2 year rate collapsing if we break this level. And I think that'll stream across all of the yields. I don't think that for now, anyways, the long end will elevate or something and cause too much chaos. If you're not paying attention to global flow stuff, he's been looking into Japan more as a big signal later on for some potential uh, market calamities and stuff, just because yields are at all-time highs, Nikkei is at highs, and the yen is getting crushed, and how that can impact cross-currency flows. So I'm paying attention to that too, because if we see that crack, then it's like that could be impacting. It might be one of the reasons why Bitcoin can't get back over 94K. Like they know that the market knows that there's something imminent or something like that. Everybody started talking about the copper breakout. Still looks pretty good on a long-term basis, right? Uh, but for now, and that's like way more industrial. So I don't know, maybe that'll be retesting here and then going. But if metals take a back seat, gold, silver, palladium, platinum stuff, that might put a little drag on copper, but then maybe that might be the generational copper buy moving forward because it does seem like that is going to be absolutely necessary. I'm not thrilled about like the bond complex in general. We need to be watching these long end yields. I expect this to kind of roll over. I don't expect this to keep climbing higher and making a new high. So if I were to draw this out, you could see a pop and a go. I just don't buy that. I think the administration just wants to do everything they can to not have that happen. And if the 2 year breaks down, I think I think we start heading into the threes for that and kill the kind of inflation narrative, especially as the jobs continue to crumble because AI is basically making it so that we're not expanding the workforce as much. So the data will at least be more beneficial for cutting rates. Yeah. Oil after the big old the big old Venezuela issue. I think it's more of a non-issue uh, than people think. I would listen to some stuff on it, and it sounds like just to get that, the oil's like, it's not like it's in barrels ready to go in big facilities. Like it's just some huge swath of oil under the ground. It would take years and years and years and years to start even extracting that in a proper way. And it's not like super refined and it's a whole deal. So like optimistically, it could add a few million barrels a day over 5 years, something like that. But the point is, we probably control it now in the West rather than in the East, and that is a big deal for how the chips settle in the long run. Iran, that is something to watch. Like there's some revolutions going on over there. I know there's a military presence over there, and there could be some sort of regime overtake at that point, and that could be pretty interesting catalyst for oil dropping, for markets to go up with this Iranian uncertainty. Who knows? We'll see. I know there's a lot of Persian people out here in San Diego, and a lot of them are very happy about what's happening over there. So we'll see how that all shakes out. You're seeing rotation among the Mag 7. Some are up, some are down. It keeps happening every day. So a lot of kind of confusion being churned in there. And you know, any sector right now, space, robotics, energy, all that, they're one day they're up, one day they're down, one day they're up, one day they're down. So not super clear on where all that is headed. I'm just trying to be super kind of careful right now, pick my spots, so on and so forth. Bitcoin volatility. Gotta get off this. Get off the month. You know, we had picked up in volatility here on the way down, and we started crushing the volatility. But Bitcoin, as this commodity, can have upside volatility and downside volatility increase. So really interested to see. This is just another representation of what happened over here. I just look at this just as contextual. I don't read, you know, too much into what it actually means, right? Because there's a lot of noise here. But this, in this case, back here in the start of the bull market, you saw Bitcoin rise with volatility rising there as well. But you also see here you had a massive drop, right? So it's just an interesting thing to keep on your watch list. I wouldn't live or die by it though. This is a chart I've been seeing putting around a lot lately, is the Bitcoin silver ratio. Kind of interesting, right? Actually, I hadn't looked at it yet with the overlay. It's kind of opened up a pretty large gap there. Interesting. So Bitcoin silver, Bitcoin gold, Mag 7 versus Bitcoin. Get rid of this. Mag 7 versus Bitcoin has been performing well. We'll have to see if this rolls over or if this defends and still outperforms. MSTR was lined up for a great day because the MSCI kept them in the index. They're not going to exclude treasury companies, and it was up 7% overnight. But of course, now Bitcoin gets smoked. MSTR goes down, and it's all just kind of getting wrecked. It is nice to see stretch over 100 because that means he's tapping that ATM as much as possible, which will go to buy more Bitcoin and improve the credit quality and improve all of these, blah, 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 blah. I still think this is going to be one of the best bets of this year. It's just, of course, any positive news we see in there somehow seems to get absolutely wrecked. Uranium, these are energy plays. I think this is like set up for a pretty generational run as well. I don't own any right now, but like I'm starting to think about it. I'm starting to think about it. Don't know. Anyways, I think that's pretty much good for now, and I will catch you guys on the next one.